Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity for me to present my paper with title The Priority Determination Analysis of the Research Competencies and the Building Engineering Preservice Teacher through the Analytical Hierarchy Process. The introduction. Teacher professional competence has significant impact on the performance. Token reflective action is one of the core competencies of long-term professional development. Reflexive action include the ability to reflect on one's own performance, the ability to apply reflective result, the ability to conduct classroom action research, and the ability to learn from a variety of sources. Research competence is defined as the ability and skill to conduct science research in the pursuit of science through using scientific method based on well-established scientific reason. The higher the subject score in the assessment of the research competence, the greater the subject research ability, which is the lower the achievement score, the lower the score. As a result, research is required to determine a priority of criteria based on their preference. Because many researchers currently consider all of these criteria to be critical. In this study, a set of the criteria will be established as the starting point for optimizing and stimulating prospective teacher-student research competencies. The criteria for the research competency of the student-teacher candidate are still very general, and it is not clear which criteria can provide the greatest contribution to the research competence of student-teacher candidate under certain conditions. As a result, it is critical to make the right decision when carrying out stimulation steps. The objective of the study was to determine the order of priority of the most important research competence criteria and Preservice teacher, so that the order of the priority indicates which stimulation criteria should be optimized. Research methodology. This study was designed with quantitative descriptive research design, which used the analytical hierarchy process (AHP) approach. Research participant. The research participant are 46 and 9th semester building engineering education student as participants in order to collect research competence data for building engineering education Preservice teacher. Then data collection, the priority skill measure, which was developed by Saati using hierarchy program analysis, uses pairwise comparison on a scale of 1 until 9, ranging from equally important to absolutely more important AHP. As for getting data on research competence of prospective student of the building engineering education teacher, a questionnaire in the form of Google form with an assessment using Likert scale of 1 until 4, namely from needing a lot of additional knowledge about this skill to having strong knowledge about this skill. Research procedure. The priority weight of the prospective student research competency criteria for building engineering education teacher calculation using the analytical hierarchy process is carried out with the following steps: define the problem, matrix preparation and competency test, arranging the comparison matrix, calculate the normalized eigenvector, consistency calculation, and then priority of the research competency can be found. And then result and discuss the priority weight of the prospective student research competency criteria for building engineering education teacher calculation using the analytical hierarchy process is carried out with the following step: define the problem, matrix preparation and competency test, arrange the comparison matrix, calculate the normalized eigenvector, consistency calculation, and then priority of research competencies can be found. And then research competency criteria based on the priority, research competency criteria based on the priority. The first priority and the component of the research competency is the scale and determining topic and research background. Just follow you. 0.372. And the second priority is knowledge of the research methodology. The value 0.297. The third priority is the scale and the development theoretical foundation, value 0.0155. And then the fourth priority is the scale and discussion and providing and conclusion, value 0.107. And the fifth priority is scale and the writing scientific article, the value 0.06. The gap between field research competency and expected research competencies, like the table, the research competence obtaining is 49.84%. So there is a research competence gap. In conclusion, the using AHP method is effective in determining the priority criteria to be developed. The analysis and weighting of the AHP above show that the scale criteria for determining the topic and the research background are the main priorities underlining the research. So this criterion is the main simulation, followed by stimulation of the scale in applying research methodology, skill in building the foundation theory, and skill in discussing the research finding, and skill in the writing, academic writing for publication. To achieve the optimal result, Preservice teacher research competencies must be developed first, and then performance indicator for each criterion would then determine the relationship between the priority indicator for each criteria will be very interesting to follow up on, and assure that increasing stimulation in the development of the research competence Preservice teacher can run effectively in the future.